everyone! In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this lovely bead stitch. Now for the purpose of the tutorial I'm going to be using different colours purely so that you know how to change colour throughout without any problems, but you can obviously use this pattern to do everything just in one colour as I've made in this little sample piece here. So you still get all the beautiful texture and the sideways effect, if you like, of the beads, but all in one colour. But as I say, for the purpose of the tutorial, I wanted to use different colours so that you can see how it looks and also so that you'd know how to do the colour change. So the beads themselves are all going to be in the different colours, and then the rows in between the beads, I'm just going to be using just the white. So I'm just using some paint box scraps here, and I'm using a chunky yarn for this project. Now, I personally like to use a half size down for whatever yarn I'm using for this particular pattern, because otherwise you can get some big gaps in between your stitches. So this is just a personal preference, of course. So if you don't already subscribe to my channel, then please do that now so that you can keep up to date with all of my weekly tutorials. And also at the very end, I will leave some links to other projects that might interest you as well. So for the bead stitch, you want to do your foundation chain in a multiple of 2. So any even number. So you're just going to yarn over and pull through. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're going to continue your foundation row in an even number, so as wide as you want your project to be. So for the purpose of the tutorial, I have done a foundation chain of 18, and whatever amount you've done, you just need to add 1 additional chain onto the end. So now I technically now have 19 stitches. We're going to use the same colour just to work our way back along to create the first row. So you're going to be doing a whole row of UK double crochet. So in the US, this is your single crochet. So you're going to skip the very first stitch just here, and you're going to do a double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So you're going to skip 1 and you're going to work a double. So insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over and pull up. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. So that is your first double crochet. Into the next, insert your hook, yarn over and pull up. You'll have 2 loops again, yarn over, pull through both. So you're just going to do that all the way along, and I will meet you in just a second. Okay, so that is my row of double crochets completed. Now because I'm going to be changing colour every row so that my beads are all in different colours, I am going to change colours here. So let me just undo that very final double crochet. So to change colours, if you're doing so, you're just going to yarn over and pull up, and instead of completing with the white, I'm going to grab the other colour and I'm just going to pull that loop through those last 2 loops, and then I'm going to do a chain 1, and then I'm ready to snip off. So obviously if you're doing a colour change at the end of every row like I am, you're going to have lots of ends to deal with, but it's just a great way, especially if you've got a big stash of half used ends, you know, because you're only doing 1 row in each colour, you can use up all of those little bits you've got lying around. So that is my row officially completed now. So if you were using the same colour, then obviously you wouldn't need to do that bit. You would just have finished your double crochet and you're ready to move on at the same point that I am now. So we're not going to chain anything, we're just going to turn. And then into this very first stitch here, so whether you've changed colours or not, you will be at the same place. So into this very first stitch, we're going to do a treble up, but obviously we're going to do it in my little way that I prefer so that we don't get any big gaps like you do with chain spaces. So you want to insert your hook straight into that first stitch, go through the whole of the stitch, making sure you've got the V on the top, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both, and then you've got 2 vertical posts here on this stitch, and you're going to go through this one, yarn over and pull up again, and yarn over, pull through both, and that just gives a really nice solid treble height stitch. So obviously these are UK trebles now. In the US these are double. So we've worked that very first stitch just here. So I'm zooming in a little bit now for the bead stitch so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. So into this very next stitch we are going to do a UK treble. So yarn over, insert into that next stitch, again go through the whole of the stitch making sure you've got the V, yarn over and pull up, and you'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So this treble that we've just done is what we are going to work these next set of stitches around. So it might sound a little complicated, but it's very easy once you've got the hang of it. So you want to yarn over, so this is going to create the bead section. So yarn over, and we're going to work around the whole of that post. So we've yarned over, I'm going to go around the back of that post. So you can see I've gone right round the back of the post. Yarn over and pull up. So don't let this get too tight, otherwise it will be really tricky for you in a minute. Pull it up a little bit, give it a wiggle, and then again, yarn over, go around the back of that stitch, yarn over, pull up again, keep it nice and loose. And you're going to do that one more time, so 3 times total. Yarn over, around the back of that stitch again, yarn over and pull up, and at this point you should have 7 loops on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you want to yarn over, and we're going to pull through all of those loops except this very last one here. So you want to yarn over, pull through all of those loops. You might need to give it a little bit of a wiggle, but stop just before you get through the end one. So now you've got 2 loops on your hook here. Yarn over and pull through both of those loops. And then obviously you want to attach this down to your row. So you want to skip 1 stitch. So you can see we've worked that stitch here. We're going to skip 1, and then into the next one along you're going to do a treble. So yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that has created your first lovely little neat bead. And then again now around this next treble that we've just done, we're going to create another bead. So I will do this with you one more time. So yarn over, go around the back of that treble, yarn over and pull up, and again yarn over, round the back of the treble, yarn over, pull up, give it a wiggle, and one last time, yarn over, round the back of the treble, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and pull through all but the last loop. So you're keeping that last loop on your hook, and you've got the yarn you've just pulled through, yarn over, pull through those final 2, and then again skip 1 stitch and treble into the next. So skip 1 and treble, and that has created another bead stitch. So you're going to continue that all the way along. So each treble you're going to work a bead stitch round it afterwards, and I will meet you as you get towards the other end and we will finish off this row. So I've worked my lovely bead stitch all the way along this row now, and I've just completed 1 bead stitch, and you can see I've got 2 stitches left at the end of this row. So that final stitch can be a little hard to see, but I've got 1 there and 1 there. So into that final one, we're going to skip 1 as normal, and into that final double crochet, we're just going to do 1 final treble. So insert into that last stitch, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. Now again, if you're changing colours here, then we'll do that now. However, if you were doing it all in one colour, you'd just complete your treble and meet me in a second. As I'm changing back to my white, so I'm just going to grab the white and draw it through that last 2 loops. Chain 1, but remember that never counts as a stitch, it's just to secure that change. Again, I'm going to knot because that is my personal preference. And then I'm ready now to continue. So obviously, even if you've done it all in the same colour, you'll be at the same point as I am now. And we're not going to chain anything, we're just going to turn. And into this very first stitch just here, before you get to your bead, you've got obviously the top of that final treble from the last row. You want to insert your hook through the whole of the stitch and do a double crochet. So yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both of those loops. So now we are going to work 1 row of UK double crochets all the way along. And remember, in the US, this is your single crochet. So each bead stitch is going to consist of 2 stitches. So this bead here, if I put my thumbs either side, you can see there are 2 stitches there to work into. So this is your first one. So yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. And then this is your next one. So each bead should have 2 stitches to work into. And make sure you go through the whole of the stitch each time, getting the V across the top of your hook. And you're going to work all the way along. So it's nice and easy. And again, it's just such a great stash buster project. If you were changing colours for your beads, you'd end up with the most beautiful rainbow blanket if you were doing that, or scarf, or whatever it is you're planning to make. So you're just going to do your whole row. I'm just going to stick with you now purely because I've got such a small sample piece that obviously I'm almost at the end already. So on my final bead here, I've got my normal 2 stitches, but make sure you also work into the top of that very first stacked treble stitch that we did. Make sure you work a double crochet into that stitch as well, otherwise your stitch count will be off. You can also, obviously, if you're still not quite sure about where to place your end stitches, when you complete that stitch at the start of each bead row, just pop a little stitch marker into the top of the stitch so that when you work back along with your other colour, you can see really easily where it needs to go. Now obviously I've completed that final double, but I've just remembered that I'm changing colours, so I will change colours one last time with you on this one. But obviously if you're using all the same colour, then you can just ignore these little colour change sections. I'm switching to pink this time. As I say, I am literally just using up scraps of yarn that I have lying around from other projects. So I've pulled it through those final 2 loops on that double crochet. Again, I'm going to snip off and tie, and then again I'm ready to start the next row, so I'm going to turn. And then again into this very first stitch just here, we're going to do our stacked treble stitch. So insert into that stitch, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through both, and then you'll have your 2 vertical-ish sections, and you're just going to go behind that one. Yarn over and pull up again, yarn over, pull through both. Now, as I say, if you're not sure for later where your end stitches are, then through the top of this stitch, just put a little stitch marker if you want to. But let's move on and just do a little bead stitch again, just to reassure you as to how to do this row. Yarn over and do a UK treble into the next stitch. And then we're going to start the bead stitch straight away around that treble. So I'll just do this one with you. So again, you should be pretty familiar with how to complete your bead stitch at this point. and then yarn over, pull through all but the final one, yarn over and pull through, skip one and treble. And then again you'll be working your bead stitch. So you'll continue that again all the way along, and I will meet you one final time when you get to the other end. And again I've completed my row of beads, and now I have 2 stitches left, and I'm just going to treble into that final stitch, and again I'm ready to change colour back to my white. So those are the 2 rows that you're going to repeat. You're going to have your row of double crochet and then your row of beads. But you can see the difference when worked in multicolours and when worked all as one. They're both equally as beautiful, but it might get more impact, if you like, when using obviously multicolours, and it would also work really amazingly with a plain yarn and then a variegated yarn for your beads. That would also look absolutely amazing. Now when it comes to finishing off your project, you're obviously going to want to finish on a row of the UK doubles so that it's nice and neat, and then you can work any border that you like around it. Do go and check out my border tutorials. There are quite a few of them on here now, and they're all in a separate playlist. But I'm just going to work up a couple more rows now so that you can really get the effect of how this looks when worked up even more. So I will see you one last time in just a second. So there we go, I have weaved in all of my ends, I've worked up a few more rows, and this is how this stitch is looking. It's an absolutely beautiful stitch. It's so neat, and especially when done with a half or a full size hook smaller than your yarn recommends, it gives the most dense, beautiful pattern as well. You don't get any huge, great big gaps or anything. It's really nice, close texture. It will make the most amazing baby blanket as well. It's so squishy because obviously these are almost puff stitches. So it is a really nice, squishy, soft pattern. And if you imagine one really long rectangle in this as well, it would be a great stripy scarf. You could have tassels at the end. It's a great stash busting project. So there are so many uses for this stitch. So whether you're doing it all in one colour or in different colours for the beads, it is a fabulous stitch to do. But I really hope that you have enjoyed the tutorial. Please also come and find me on Instagram, tag me on there. I love sharing people's work when they've used my tutorials, and check out the links that I've left here as well, and remember to subscribe. But I will see you for yet another stitch tutorial next weekend. Bye!